Welcome to Sales Bites by Journey, where we talk about everything you need to know to be a killer at sales. I'm your host, Will Jenkins. Let's get it.
Hello, and welcome to Sales Bites by Journey. My name is Will Jenkins, CEO and founder of Journey, and your host. I'm joined by Michael Sternberg, Director of Sales at 3PL Systems. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. So we met certainly on LinkedIn and then in person doing the conference circuit. It's been really cool getting to know you the last few years, man. But I'm excited to learn from you. So as we dive in here, always like to start with a quick 10,000 foot overview of your background. Want to know a little bit about what 3PL Systems does, and then we'll dive into the sales bites.
Cool. So I'm a career sales guy, and in many different forms, but it's always been sales. Like a lot of us who've been around for a while, I kind of cut my teeth going door to door, right? So I know you have a similar history. I think you were selling Cutco, right?
I was.
Yes. Children in third world countries getting sponsored for 92 cents a day. That was where I started. Yeah. So same residential grind. Hundreds of doors a day. Those who've done it know, right? Put it that way. Transitioned into selling copiers, business to business, but still going door to door. And then for the last almost decade, I've been here at 3PL Systems, heading up all go-to-market motions and commercial activities for, obviously a TMS company. So yeah, who are we? We're a freight brokerage TMS company. So those of you that are listening, I'm sure most of them know what that is. I don't need to go into too much detail there, right?
Yeah, man. And I always ask for a fun fact. You got any fun facts to share? Anything interesting?
Gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I wasn't prepped for that. What is a fun fact about me? No, I'm kind of a boring, simple guy, honestly. I don't know. I mean, let me get back to you on that. Cool. I wasn't ready for that.
Dude, no worries. The fun fact is that Michael's heads down just selling TMS, right?
That's
He's
right.
Locked in. Awesome, Michael. Well, thank you for joining us on Sales Bites. We're going to dive into your topic on referrals. So hit me, man. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, so this is kind of a new one for me. I think it's always been somewhere that I could have done better. I still could do better there, but I'm starting to realize over the last few years that there is just a bunch of fruit laying on the ground for me to go pick up that I've just been walking past, right? Now, the most important thing about referrals, you do not have the right to ask for referrals if you haven't been doing something long enough. That's the first thing, right? So I'm sorry if you're new in your career, don't ask your first customer for a referral. You're going to sound like an idiot. I'm just going to put that out there. But over time, if you have been consistently in the market, you have consistently added value to multiple customers. You have built relationships within the industry with maybe technology partners, with people like yourself, just industry peers, or with current customers. If you have done all of that, then you've earned the right to ask for referrals. And I don't think this is a secret. Referrals are way faster in terms of sales cycle, and they have a way higher close rate, and actually they have a slightly higher average deal size. But again, you don't get to ask for referrals until a little bit later on in your career, until you've done all the other things and cold called and networked and closed and managed the pipeline and done all those things. But I will tell you what, once you get to that point, you better leverage that because there's a lot of money to be made through referrals.
Totally. I am so incredibly appreciative for partners that we have and people that I've built relationships with, because emails will just show up in my inbox and there'll be referrals. And some of these are our best customers today. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But they close so much faster. And the opportunities are typically pre-vetted because the people that work with you, whether they be a customer of yours or someone that is just in the ecosystem, they know the type of people that work well for your solution. And so they put a lot of times better opportunities in front of you.
Yeah. And here's something that I always say. Your best salesperson doesn't work for your organization. It seems counterintuitive, but it is 100% true. Your best salespeople do not work for your organization, right? So how do I leverage that? Now, there's a lot of ways to do it, but it's really like most salespeople, myself included up until recently, we don't ask. We don't ask for referrals and we don't incentivize it. Now, a lot of it will happen naturally, right? Like you and I get on a podcast, you know me for a little bit, you're like, hey, I know someone's looking for a TMS. You might be like, hey, Mike, go talk to Mike. Mike's a TMS guy, right? That'll happen naturally. But if I look at my current customer base, for example, people that I've personally brought on over the years, now they're obviously not my customers, but you know what I'm saying. If I tell them, just for example, hey, I know you know other people in the industry. If you know anyone else that would like our tool, send them over. We'll give you $1,000 off your monthly bill for 3 months, right? That doesn't seem like that much money, but you incentivize people, right? Because if they don't know, what's in it for them? Listen, everybody's selfish, myself included, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. We always want to know what's in it for us, right? But if I don't know that something's in it for me, you got to really like your sales rep to just give them a referral for no reason, right?
Totally. There's a lot to be said about just simple things that people will take advantage of, and people are motivated by like interesting things, whether it be, tickets to a game or a couple bucks off of a bill or, the referral agreement. Oh, there's a lot of ways to get people interested in wanting to refer good customers to you.
Yeah. The other piece I want to kind of pull a thread on that I mentioned earlier, but I think is really important. So trust. The trust element is so big because you can destroy trust way faster than you can create it. And again, this is not an original thought, but the only way that referrals work is if everyone, and I mean everyone in your network trusts you, from your customers to your peers to your old coworkers, because this industry in particular is, well, like we all know each other. We all talk to each other. You're going to know someone who's had an experience with me, right? Even if you've never talked to me, and they're going to check. If one person says that you did X, Y, and Z and you were shady and you lied and you stole or whatever, you're out of the conversation, right? And then that person doesn't want to refer you because then they look like an idiot, right? So you have to be trustworthy in all interactions, in every avenue. And for example, for you to want to refer me, you better know like Mike's not going to screw you over. I know some people that Mike has helped. I know that 3PL Systems is a good TMS. Because if all that's not true, you're not going to risk your reputation on that, and you shouldn't.
No, sir. I love that you mentioned how important trust is, because it takes an entire career to build it, and one moment or one slip to lose that. And it's so much more important to just take the high road and do things the right way, even when it might cause short-term pain or you don't make the money right now. Those things pay dividends because who you are and your reputation follows you in perpetuity. And so, man, we might be sitting here 5 years from now, you and I talking about whatever, and the way that we treated each other over the next 5 years is going to dictate whether or not we want to engage with each other. And 100%. That can create a lot of opportunity or a lot of lack of opportunity.
Yeah. No, and it kind of goes back to where we started with the pros thing. You earn it over time. You don't get to have referrals. It is a benefit of doing a good job for a long period of time, right? Like that's how it happens. But again, not to repeat myself, but like I think everyone can do better at leveraging that once you've gotten to that point, right?
My first job back in the day, I was slinging blades. I was selling Cutco, right?
Cutco?
Yeah, man. And so after getting through my high school directory, I'm calling everybody, all their parents that I went to high school with. At the end of every appointment, I would read the manual. I read the script, get the order, and then ask for referrals. And so at 18, I learned the power of just asking. And did I get referrals every single time? Absolutely not. So this a little bit gets ahead of like you got to earn your place. I think it's different B2C and B2B, but I'm sitting there. I just sold somebody a set of knives, and I'm like, hey, Mr. Mrs. Customer, I get paid XYZ to do these appointments. I'm trying to win a scholarship. Who do you know that would be open to take an appointment, right? And we would incentivize them and give them like a free peeler to like give you a bunch of referrals. But it's like the same concept, and it taught me how powerful pre-vetted good leads are, because I would go to those appointments and like, oh, we know Will, boom, orders. And I'm like, oh, these are better than like the first leads I had.
Yeah, no, totally. Again, the best salespeople do not work for your organization, right?
They don't, man.
and you think you're good, and I think I'm good, right? We'll never be as good as someone giving us a referral.
Never, man. No, nobody likes to. Nobody is better at positioning what you do than someone who buys your service today.
There you go. There you go. I love that.
It's true, man. So as you've grown in your career, you've been doing this for a long time. Obviously, you have tons of customers that will vouch for you as an organization and 3PL systems. What have you done to make those customers comfortable with giving you referrals? I know trust is going to be a big part, but anything else?
Yeah, I mean, the little incentive, that was a real example. We'll give people $1,000 off their monthly bill for the first 3 months after someone they bring on signs. But you know what? A lot of it has also just been consistent service and showing up for the client. And just that consistency over time, they just are like, yeah, you know what? You've done right by us for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I absolutely want you to get more business, and I absolutely trust that you guys will do the same with this person, and I feel comfortable doing it. So while I did focus a lot on just asking, if you do it the right way, you don't have to keep asking. You have to build it, and then you have to let people know that it's an option, and then it kind of runs from there. But you got to ask every new person, right? If you got new customers and all that. So, but you know what's interesting? A lot of it has come from industry connections, not even customers, right? A lot of it has come from like integration partners, right? So like we integrate with, Bitfreighter, Highway, My Carrier, like we integrate with everybody, just like every TMS. But those people are also a great source of referrals, right? Okay, well, Mike is the TMS guy, and Danielle is the My Carrier Portals girl, and my guy Luke over at Highway, and right, we all kind of have these people at the organizations that we trust and we know, and we're kind of in the trenches and fighting and growing together. That's a really big untapped network of referrals. It's just completely outside of your customers.
100%, because you think about customer acquisition cost and what it costs to get somebody in the door when you're transacting all with the same decision makers and the same ICP. The speed and cost goes so far down. You speed up the sales cycle and you drive down the customer acquisition cost. But sometimes people are a little afraid to build those partnership agreements and build those partnerships in general. But they are, for a journey, so fruitful. I'll tell you that much.
Good.
Yeah.
You know the game, right?
It's hard enough as is, man. You got to build those partnerships. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I'll take the leads if you want to give them to me, right?
Yeah, by all means, man. So this was really helpful, man. It got my brain cranking on some stuff that we can certainly do better in our business. I'm going to recap a couple things, and just feel free to let me know if there's anything else that you feel is valuable. So consistently add value to your customers. And if you do that, there's a reason for them to want to refer you. Your best salespeople don't work for your organization. They are customers or people that will vouch for your ability to execute. Don't be afraid to incentivize them. So whether it be some money off of their bill or something else that is going to get them to want to send referrals, make sure that you introduce something of that sort. Trust is huge. You will not get referrals if you're not executing and they don't trust you. And consistent service and showing up for the client is going to make them want to see you do well. Another thing that you mentioned kind of is that when you do right by your customers, they want to see you win. And so if you're doing that, there's not really a reason for them not want to send you referrals. And so I love that philosophy, because you do right by them, it ends up paying dividends.
Yeah, no, it's a karmic energy kind of thing, right? I put out enough good into the universe in the space that I operated professionally, and I can say this from experience. The industry has given back, and I like to think that I have put forth some good into the space, as little as I can in my little niche. But I think it's a universal rule, just more applied to kind of what I do professionally. That I try to be trustworthy and put out into the world, and I trust that the world's going to bring that back to me. And referrals is exactly the same concept.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. Well, I appreciate your time today. This was incredible. I look forward to being able to jam on some more topics for you. I've learned a lot, man. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Will.